backwards from 5. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, and I won't keep you long. I know you're going to be going to the gym in the next 15 minutes, so let's get this done. All right, 5.
No real rush.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. Happy Father's Day, and I have a very special guest for everybody. For all the lonely moms out there, we got Elias Theodorou joining us here today. What's going on, Elias?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
So you're coming off this fresh win, man. But before we talk about any of that, how have you been since that fight let out?
Doing good. Basically, back to the gym after my fight, and pushing on. Still doing me, and a lot of fun things inside the cage and out.
So in case anybody didn't catch your last fight, you were on that UFC Liverpool card, which was actually a very controversial card. I really want to talk about that really quick before we talk about your fight. What were you thinking when Darren Till came in a little overweight?
Real unfortunate. Just because, especially because, it was his hometown. They were building it up, and the fact that, this is an opportunity for him. He's facing the number one contender, I believe, or the second in spot, which is obviously Wonder Boy, and the position that Wonder Boy had to put himself or was in because of that. He took the fight luckily, but there was a lot of unknowns for a couple of hours, so it was a real weird atmosphere to see everyone weighed in, and except for the actual two locals. The only two people that didn't make weight were the locals.
Yeah, Meatball Molly. Yeah, Molly missed weight, and leading up this year, I mean, the stats have been the fighters who have missed weight have mostly been winning, and now they're trying to get rid of, or they are getting rid of, the early weigh-ins. How do you feel about that?
Very disappointing on that. I think it's rewarding those that didn't make weight. I think it's punishing the people that did what they were supposed to do. I'm in favor completely for more recovery time. And, Dana White has been jumping on, whether it's interviews or whatever on different type of media sources saying that, fighters aren't warning people. I disagree. I think we're professionals. And those that aren't making weight aren't the professionals, and rewarding them and punishing those that actually did their job isn't the issue or isn't the answer. I think, if anything, we should do some more stiff penalties for those that don't make weight, whether it's, making it a no contest, or instead of, 20%, it becomes 20% of your show and then 20% of your win, maybe even both. You know what I mean? Like, Darren Till would be the first to tell you that he doesn't really think that he, deserves a number one contender component, partly because, the performance maybe wasn't as great as it could have been, but also because he didn't make weight, and he was, 4 or 5 pounds away. So, and that's with the 2 hours that was actually allotted to him. So, and then you can kind of fast track to a different card where you have someone like Yoel Romero, who his coaches and management have admitted that they essentially were trying to game the system, and it blew up in their face, where, they knew that Chicago had 2 hours allotted for those that didn't make it in the time frame, so they purposely made it so that they could do it at the end. So, by their own admission, that they cheated, essentially, and it blew up in their face. And to reward cheaters and those that are unprofessional is the wrong move, and it'd be setting the UFC back.
It's been 2 years now since they started the early weigh-ins, and I seen you tweeting out, you're like, I'm a morning person, and I like that extra time to recover. What difference is it going to make now that it's gone? It's not like people are going to be making weight more. I mean, what good is it going to really do?
Yeah, it just, what it ends up doing is, like I said, it sends the wrong message in regards to rewarding those that didn't make weight.
Yeah.
It takes away time from us to recover, which should be the most important thing, and that's why it was done in the first place. I understand in some ways, we're a product, and the product hasn't been making the weight in a little bit higher numbers, but at the same time, I just think there should be stiffer penalties, like I mentioned. I don't think we should go back. I think it is the right decision. It's just some people are trying to game the system. An example, Yoel Romero.
And you know what? There's been a lot of MMA fans that have been freaking out, as usual. I mean, we just had CM Punk go in there again. I know there was a lot of controversy there. Well, it's over and done with now. What did you think of CM Punk's performance and the reaction that the fans are giving Mike the True Jackson?
Well, you know, he did better than the first go. He made the whole round, right?
Yeah.
Or made the whole fight. So, you know, all the power to him in the sense that, you know, it was an opportunity, and even after a devastating and embarrassing defeat, he stuck to it and did it again. Obviously, he's 0-2, so that's not a good look in regards to, you know, the top echelons in regards to what the UFC represents. You know what I mean? It's the biggest stage for a reason. You know, so it does create, like, lend to the idea that it is sports entertainment, and it does take away a little bit of the, you know, martial arts or sport component to it. But at the same time, you know, it is what it is, and it kind of showed that, you know, you can kind of do it once and it loses its shine, where you have the first Stipe versus the first fight that what's his name, CM Punk was on, was Stipe versus Overeem, and then I believe did 850,000 pay-per-view buys, whereas this one did 150. So, you know, it's unfortunate they didn't have Alistair Overeem on that card, you know, to be on the main event instead of, let's say, CM Punk. Oh, wait, they could have done that.
And you know what? That was an amazing card, too. It was absolutely stacked. Even the fights, they played out perfectly. There was a lot of action on there. So I was a little surprised when those numbers came out as well. 150K pay-per-view buys, which is really low for a pay-per-view that of this manner. But do you think it had to do with the main event, you know, this being the rematch and people not wanting to get into it? Why would the numbers be this low? And can you trust the numbers that we got?
Well, you can't really trust them until they're, you know, they're official. And it's been, you know, put out there, but it's not a good look either way. And partly, like you said, it's a repeat, whether it's CM Punk or whether it's the title. And if you throw in the fact that it wasn't really a title at the end of it, people could have gotten put off on it because, you know, Joe Romero didn't make weight, wasn't professional.
Elias, before we let you go, I have two more questions for you. One being, there's been a lot of rumors of Conor McGregor going up against Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 229. What are your thoughts on that? Is that the right direction for Conor to go?
You know, it's a fight that I think a lot of people want to see. Obviously, there's opportunity with whether it's Conor McGregor and George St. Pierre, but I think if we're going to put some normally back into the 155, Champ needs to, you know, get back in there. And this will be like the first time that Khabib actually fights someone, you know, beyond a top, you know, a top 5 competitor. So it'd be very interesting. Obviously, Khabib is undefeated for a reason. He's great at what he does, but, you know, he showed some vulnerabilities in his last fight, and I think that's why you see Conor and his team a little bit more eager to do it.
And it's such a shame that the Tony Ferguson fight wasn't able to go through, but that would be a fun direction to head in. Now, Elias, you're coming off fresh off of this win, man. So what's the direction you're headed in now that you've had some time to digest? What are you and your team planning on doing here before the end of the year?
Yeah, no, hopefully fighting again soon. One of the people that I put out there was Machida. I believe he's number 9. I'm number 14. And everyone else is pretty much booked. To put it out there. So, you know, if he wants to fight sometime soon, I'd love to take on the Dragon, and you know, it'd be a true honor. And I'd love to put on you know, one hell of a show like I did the last fight, and this time against a former champion. Other than that, in regards to who's on my radar, it would really have to depend on who's, you know, who comes off of every single win. Because, like I mentioned, a lot of the people at 150 or 185 on the top 15 are kind of booked. Other people would be the 15th spot who's just below me, someone like Christoph Jock, or even someone that's not ranked, Jack Hermanson. Like, he may not be ranked, but he came off of a hell of a win over a legend in Talis Latis. So, you know, obviously I want to go up, but I definitely want to fight sooner rather than later.
What is it about Lyoto that catches your eye? I mean, the Dragon versus the Spartan. I mean, there it is right there. Well, what about him makes you want that fight?
That's exactly it. He's obviously, a legend, still doing it. He presents great challenges still at this point, as everyone can see in his last fight. He's 2 out of his last 3, and that's coming after, a long layoff, I think, for 2 years, give or take. So, it'd be an honor. You train long enough, you fight long enough, and your idols become your competition. So, it'd be a great opportunity to fight such a living legend, and it would be an honor, like I mentioned.
You just got that to settle on my head now. That sounds like a very appetizing fight to watch, especially for the MMA community out there. That would be an amazing, even a headliner event right there. That would be perfect for you, Elias.
Yeah. I would love to finally go 5 rounds. It'd be it would be a great opportunity, obviously, to fight Lyoto, like I mentioned, but it would be really cool, to put myself in that main event status, because technically I am the main event, MANE, no matter if I'm on the top of the card or the bottom card. But it would be good to go 5 rounds and structure my camp around that.
I think the time is due for that as well, Elias. I think we got to hear what the MMA fans have to say, but I really think that sounds like the perfect plan for you. I think it's time for a big name fight like that. I mean, the Dan Kelly win, that was awesome. You're on a 2-fight win streak now. Lyoto on a 2-fight win streak, coming off that hot highlight. We are looking forward to whatever comes next for you, Elias. I want to thank you so much for joining me once again on Pure Evil MMA. We're going to let you go, but before we do that, is there any shout-outs, any sponsors, anything at all they'd like to get out on the table?
Yeah, no, well, obviously, thank you as always for your time, and, always a pleasure catching up. I don't have a fight yet, but I do have my next Ring Boy event, which will be at BTC in Burlington, and then it'll be next Saturday, the 23rd, but then I'm also back for Invicta 30th, Invicta 30, July 21st, which I'm really excited to as well. I'm at the main event, but also Ring Boy, trademark included, is ready to dominate inside the cage and out.
It was a big hit, man, so I'm glad that it's going on. It's going to blossom, and I'm looking forward to it, man. You're doing all the right things. Have a great day. Happy Father's Day, Elias, and God bless.
God bless back, man.
There you guys go. Elias Theodorou, the Spartan. How about that? The Spartan versus the Dragon. Now, I didn't even see that. I mean, that literally just settled on my head. That sounds so perfect. It's not even funny. I mean, what other, like Elias said, everyone else is booked. Hermanson, that's an option, but if I'm Elias's manager, I think it's time. I think the level that he's traveled on, the perfect way to climb the rankings, Lyoto next, man. That would be perfect for Elias. Let us know what you think about that. You can tweet Elias at Elias Theodorou on Twitter, or tweet me at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Also on Instagram at Pure Evil MMA, guys. It is Sunday. My birthday weekend is a wrap. Thank you guys so much for all the birthday wishes. We had the CES 50 recap show where we were joined by Lugo. We were joined by Fabio Charant. We were joined by Mallory Martin. We were joined by Chris O'Brien. That is down below here on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, wherever you're catching this. You can find all the content that I release at mymmanews.com. That means podcasts, interviews, anything at all, articles that I'm writing. You can find that on my Twitter, but always at mymmanews.com, along with all the links for Podbean, Stitcher, Podomatic, what have you. And guys, if you enjoyed this interview, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you liked it, and subscribe down below. We do this all the time. I mean, if there's anyone that you guys would like to have me on, if there's anybody that you guys would like to have me on, wow, this is not working out. If there's anyone that you guys would like me to have on the show, let me know on Twitter or Instagram, and the links below. So I got the rats running around below me here, causing madness. Guys, once again, happy Father's Day. White knuckles to the end. Behave yourselves. That was weak sauce.